The championship equation is beginning to change in the ARCA Menards series. Michael Self, the point leader, major damage to that Sinclair 25. He got passed by several people, and then trouble for Michael Self. Let's take a look at what happened to him in the Auto Park It replay. He got passed, got up outside the groove, and then just lost it. Michael Self hitting the inside retaining wall. Dave Reef, that's a lot of damage to that car.
It most certainly is, Bob Dillner. The biggest problem that they had is with only 4 crew guys going over the wall trying to figure out what needed to be done. There was a lot of discussion, but nobody out there to help the jack man. That car damaged on the right side, was all the way against the ground. They couldn't get the jack underneath of it to even begin surveying the damage. But the skill saw's coming out. The right front fender's coming off. They've already changed the right front tire with yet more damage to be assessed.
So I want to know, Jim Trado, we talked about Michael Self and how last year was a difficult end of the season for him. He said the mental side of the game is so important to winning championships. How was he on the radio after that mishap? What was he saying?
He actually, before we saw him spin in turn 3, he lost a couple of spots by going high on the racetrack. Then turn 1, he blew the corner. Max McLaughlin got underneath him. As soon as the car stopped spinning, Michael immediately turned the attention to himself and said, "This is really bad." His octave, I've never heard that octave out of him before, just being so upset at himself, so dejected. And as he came to pit road, he said, "I am bringing the car to you. I am so mad at myself right now. I was overdriving the car." And I don't know if that means there was handling issues early on or the frustration of finding that speed and not quite having it today caught up to that driver in the number 25. Last year had axle issues, finished 13th. Here today, Gateway proves to be a deciding factor. Worldwide Technology Raceway is, again, a big, pivotal racetrack in the chase for the championship for Michael Self, again in 2020.
Dave Reef, we see the crew down there doing things the old-fashioned way, just jumping on the hood, trying to get it straight. But how worried are they as far as the suspension damage on that 25?
Well, I think at this point now, with only about 15 laps to go, that's not the big concern. The biggest concern may be getting this car patched up. Michael Self's been doing this a long, long time, and we've seen him be able to resurrect a good finish off of troubles just like this, and that's what they're hoping they can be able to do here today. The big issue, though, for the ARCA Menards officials, just making sure that hood doesn't come off. We'll get an idea about the suspension now as Michael rolls off and see how that car handles. There's definitely a lot of inside camber on that front left wheel.
Self already 2 laps down, being scored in 15th. Brett Holmes, 15 points behind him in the national point standings, runs 7th. This is going to be interesting. Michael Self working his way back out in the racetrack.